Imagine going to sleep tonight in your own bed. Your house, your neighborhood, your country. Everything belongs to you. Then you wake up tomorrow morning to a single order. This country is no longer yours. Leave right now. This exact reality dictated the lives of millions of people during the 1947 partition of India. Because of one newly drawn line on a map, tens of millions of people became refugees overnight. It stands as brutal historical proof of how quickly a distant, bureaucratic decree can entirely erase the lives of everyday citizens. The crisis began when the British Empire, after 200 years of colonial rule, decided it was time to pack up and leave the Indian subcontinent. Their exit created a massive power vacuum, leaving one critical question: would this vast, diverse territory remain one united nation, or would it be divided? On one side was the Congress Party. They demanded that a newly independent India remain entirely undivided. On the other side, the Muslim League argued that to guarantee the safety of the subcontinent's Muslims, a separate nation was required, Pakistan. This high-level political debate rapidly bled into the streets. Politicians weaponized fear, spreading a simple, toxic message: if they come into power, you won't be safe. Long before any physical border was actually drawn, the society had already begun to mentally and socially fracture. The tension finally snapped in 1946 with the announcement of Direct Action Day. Political rhetoric quickly ignited into physical conflict. In major cities like Kolkata, massive riots erupted. Entire neighborhoods burned, and the streets were suddenly littered with the dead. Generations of community trust evaporated instantly in the flames. It was replaced by absolute terror of the neighbors they had lived beside for years. This localized slaughter panicked the British government. Desperate to exit quickly, they rushed toward a blunt force, permanent solution. They would split the country in two. Lord Mountbatten was brought in with a specific mandate: execute the division of the subcontinent as quickly and surgically as possible. This map shows the undivided patchwork of British India. Bureaucrats hastily dragged a line across to dictate citizens of India or Pakistan. But they ignored a fatal detail. This border sliced directly through ancient communities, shared rivers, and ancestral homes. They prioritized administrative speed over the demographic reality of the people actually living there. The moment the border was announced, between 10 to 20 million people were instantly forced from their homes, triggering the largest mass migration in human history. Families abandoned everything, fleeing by any means necessary. The transit conditions were impossibly desperate, with thousands of individuals clinging to the roofs of severely overcrowded trains just to escape. Those desperate journeys were frequently intercepted by sectarian mobs. Trains meant to carry families to salvation often arrived at their final destinations carrying only corpses. Mothers lost children, brothers lost sisters, neighbors lost friends. 1 million lives were lost, and hundreds of thousands of women became targets of systematic violence. This population transfer functioned as a violent amputation. An entire generation was severed from ancestral roots. For the millions who survived in the refugee camps, the stark reality set in: they could never return home. Their entire past had been erased by the stroke of a foreign pen. A government can easily draw a line to divide physical land, but it is impossible to partition human memory, culture, and emotional roots. Political movements promised safety through the separation of communities and the fear of neighbors. The actual cost of that promise was 1 million lives and a generation severed from its past. When political elites play games with borders and weaponize fear, ordinary citizens pay the ultimate price. If we remember this history, perhaps no one will ever again have to wake up and hear, "This country is no longer yours."